Welcome, my name is Greg Nicotero, this is Andy Schoenberg. We were the special effects makeup artists on The Walking Dead. We are here at K&B Studios in beautiful downtown Chatsworth, California. We are about to transform my cousin Mike into a zombie. And everybody, after seeing The Walking Dead, is going to want to be a zombie. Now, when we did the TV series this summer, we used a variety of techniques, some of which probably won't be available to you guys at home.
All the materials I'll be using are things that you can get at your local Halloween store or wherever they sell Halloween products, or cosmetics. The first step will be to zombify Mike's hair by adding conditioner to just make the hair kind of greasy and lifeless. So you put way more conditioner in than you would ever use in your hair in the shower. I'm going to start off with Mike's forehead, and I'm going to do a little bit of what we call stretch and stipple. It's a technique that's been around forever. You just stretch the skin, apply a layer of liquid latex over the top, dry it, powder it, and then let it go. And when it snaps back into position, you'll see there'll be a network of fine, crepey wrinkles over the entire surface. I'll show you, too, how to do a little bit of latex with some oatmeal in it for texture. These are just instant oats from oatmeal, and it makes a great texture if you want to just have dirty, rotten skin. I'm going to put it around the wound, and I'm just sort of smoothing the edges out so that it looks more incorporated into the skin. Dry this. Now I'm thinking on Mike's nose and his cheek, I'll show you some techniques with gelatin. Now this is the gelatin that we use. This is made from regular gelatin from the grocery store. It's really about a pack of gelatin to a third of a cup of water, or sometimes even less. Cut this into cubes, put it in the microwave to melt it for 10-second intervals. If it boils, then it breaks the structure of the gelatin down. So that's why the 10-second intervals. Now you can see it's starting to melt, but it's key that it absolutely not boil. When you make your own, it's transparent, but you can use liquid food coloring, or you can add a little makeup into it. I'm going to start by putting on what would be the bony areas of Mike's face. And just keep working the material as it sets. Down in this part of the face, I want this to be really textured and look like a cut or rotted flesh area. I can then start pulling at the gelatin with my tongue depressor to start creating wounds. See, that's almost set, and I'm able to really pull and manipulate it now to get nice, rough, torn-looking edges on the wound. This is just a little piece of black cosmetic sponge. I'm just adding a little texture. So what I'm going to do next is I think Mike's nose looks a little too pristine. So I'm going to paint on a layer of liquid latex, and then I'm going to take some facial tissue, and I'm going to press it into that and paint more latex on top and sort of wrinkle it up just to make it look a little more eaten away. The edges tend to work better if they're torn. They're a little more ragged and they blend in better than if it's a straight cut or solid edge. This is more liquid latex going on the top of the tissue. And at this point you have to be a little careful with your hairdryer too, not to melt any of the gelatin that you've added on. So because I've got so many different materials working on this makeup, I thought that it might be a good way to tie everything together, just to put a layer of liquid latex over everything. But notice I'm avoiding the areas where there are wounds. After the latex is all on and dried, you want to powder it real thoroughly so it doesn't stick to itself. So now I'm going to start coloring Mike's makeup. I'll use these colors that I got at the Halloween store. I'm going to start with pale base color, and I poured out a little quantity of mineral oil. So I'm going to put a little mineral oil on my makeup palette. I'm going to get some makeup on my sponge, and I'm going to start covering over all this rubber on Mike's face. So step one is going to be to make Mike have a real pale, dead skin tone. So now I'm going to go for black makeup. You don't have to be satisfied with what you can get off the shelf. You can actually mix colors together. Just take a little bit of the color out and mix up the color you want. Now I'm going to start putting in shadows on Mike's face and start bringing out the bony structure. So you can see in the skull, the face needs to be hollowed out in that area, in this area, and all around the eye. Now the makeup at this point is largely black and white. For the diseased flesh-looking area, they're going to use a little green. The green is sort of an unnatural color on people's faces and a little disturbing to most people. And for us, the last step was always putting on blood. You can make it your own version very easily with corn syrup and food coloring. So you can see this adds a nice amount of texture and depth.
So one of the things that we always liked on Walking Dead was to sort of imply the idea that there was some violence involved in whatever way that they were killed. So one of the things that we like to do is take a brush with some fake blood that you can make with food coloring and Karo syrup and kind of do some sort of spattering so that will sort of appear to be dried blood that kind of spattered a little bit. You could get the idea that a zombie came in and bit him on the cheek and then some of the blood kind of spattered around. Once this would dry, we'd hit it with a hair dryer and you'd get a few drips and stuff, but that spattered look looked kind of fun. And there you go.
That ought to be dead and creepy enough to scare the pants off all your friends.
From everyone here at K&B Effects, happy Halloween, and once you're done getting your candy, you should be watching The Walking Dead.